Kelly Rasmussen with a fun card today featuring lots of products from the Stamp Your Story line, as well as an Emboss Resist technique using the new Ink Daubers. So the first thing I'm going to do is ink up this retro frame woodblock stamp with the Mint Julep Mid-Tone Shadow Ink. And I'm just going to stamp that on a piece of white cardstock. And when I have an image like this that has a big solid area, lots of times I like to double stamp the image. So I'm going to, you'll see me bring it in my Stamp-A-Majig here and place it right up against my woodblock stamp, so when I stamp it again I can get a perfect image on top of the other one. So I'm just going to press down really good here and then ink my stamp up again and stamp it one more time. And these inks will, just with one stamping, these inks will smooth out, but I just wanted a really crisp image, and so I've kind of gotten the habit of, when I have solid images, I just double stamp them lots of times. So that's what I ended up with here. And then I went ahead and used the 3x4 frame die, and I die cut the frame out. And I wanted the inside of this frame to be open, so I'm just going to take a ruler and my craft knife and carefully go around the inside of this frame to create an open window where my stamping and my Emboss Resist technique will show through the middle. And then here's what that frame looks like when it's all finished. And then I just have my top folding white card base here, and I'm just going to place my frame in the center here, and I'm just kind of placing it here temporarily for my placement so I know exactly where my stamping needs to go. And I'm going to be masking off the area around this frame so I don't get any ink outside of the frame area. And you'll see here in a minute what I'm doing exactly. So I'm just going to place a Post-it note around all four sides of the frame. And then I'm going to ink up the sun image with some Versamark ink and stamp it right in the middle of that frame. And then I'm going to shake on some white embossing powder and then just hit it with my heat gun. And then once that's finished and the embossing area is cooled, I'm going to go in with 3 different colors of neon ink daubers. I have the neon pink, orange, and yellow. And I'm just going to swipe them over the embossed area, and you can see now why I masked off this area, because I don't want to go outside of that framed area. I want to keep it hidden behind that frame, just have the ink over the sun area. So I'm just going to swipe them over the image here, and you don't really need to press too hard when you're using these ink daubers. The ink flows out pretty easily and they're really easy to work with and to control. So next here I'm just going in with some pink, and it's not a problem to kind of overlap the colors if you get, you know, I think I got a little orange here on the tip of the yellow, and I'm just going to tap it off on some scratch paper on the side and it cleans it right off, no problem. So then once I have all my colors down there, I'm going to remove all of my Post-it notes here, and then I'll have my area that will be behind my frame that I made earlier. And as a last step here, I'm going to go in with just a wet baby wipe and wipe off the embossed areas to allow the white to show through. And now that the ink on this frame is completely dry, I'm going to go in and do a little more stamping over the top. And I'm just going to rub it with my powder tool here, since I'm going to be doing some embossing. And this Hello Sentiment is from the Time Cling stamp set from the Stamp Your Story line. And I'm using my Stamp-A-Majig here to help me get the placement just right and make sure the sentiment is straight. And then I'm just going to shake on some white embossing powder, and then I'm just going to hit it with my heat gun. And next I'm going to take this arrow image from the Notebook Essentials stamp set, and I'm going to stamp it on the frame using some mint julep ink. And since the ink on the frame was already dry and I'm stamping over with the same color, you get a really nice tone-on-tone look, and it's just another way to get a little more use out of your ink colors and create some different looks. And then next I'm going to do a little stamping around the outside of the frame here, and I have this little ink splatter image, and I'm going to be using those 3 neon ink daubers to do some stamping around the frame. So first I have the pink here, and these ink daubers work great for just rubbing on your stamp and using them just like ink too. So that's what I'm doing here. And you might notice that this isn't actually how the final card I made turns out. I didn't really like how this turned out, and I ended up redoing it, but I thought I'd include these steps anyways, and just to show you how I ended up fixing the card and, you know, saving the pieces that I had created. So then I've just covered the back of this frame with a bunch of foam adhesive, and then I'm getting ready to adhere to my card, and this is where I realized that I just really don't like how it looks. So I took a few minutes and figured out how I could change it and save the pieces that I've created to make it into a card that I do like. So here I've just scored a new card base, and I have that same frame, and I've just cut the other piece that I created from that other card base, and I'm just going to adhere my frame right over the top of it. So then I'm just going to adhere this piece right onto my card base, and I have decided to put it at a bit of an angle, and I'm going to go in with this small little arrow image and create a row of arrows above and below the frame. So to get that row of arrows perfectly straight, I've went in with my ruler and pencil and drawn a guideline, so I have a reference point to where I can line up the bottom of my stamp and stamp all along that line, and I'll end up with a nice straight row. So you could use a Stamp-A-Bid jig here too, but I just found this was an easier way, and it worked really well. So then I'm just going to go in with my eraser and erase my pencil guidelines, and then the card is finished. And I really like how this one turned out in the end, and I'm glad I switched it up in the middle and was able to save some of those pieces that I created. So here's a couple more shots at the final card. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching.